Today we're going to paint a magnolia with acrylic paints on regular copy paper. If you'll notice, it's turned up a little bit. You could easily flatten this out between two heavy books. I went ahead and drew the magnolia first, so that way I wouldn't have to waste time drawing. If you wanted to draw your own, you could. Right now I'm showing you my paint that I mixed up. It's a little bit of brown and a little bit of mustard. This is acrylic paint that you could buy at Walmart or Hobby Lobby. I'm using a flat brush. That way I can paint the petals quicker. 3 types of brushes I recommend: a flat brush like the one I'm using now, a small detail brush, and a round brush, which I'll show you in just a minute. You'll notice I'm not using a lot of water. It's because I really want to get an opaque, thick layer down to kind of cover up some of the black for each one of these petals. And I can paint over the details, black detail lines in the middle of the petals as well, and still see a little bit of them coming through. If you'll notice right now, I'm holding my brush a little bit closer to the edge. That's because I'm painting with a thicker stroke. I'll let that dry for just a second. I'm going to rinse my brush off just a little bit. I'll use the same one to get a nice thick stroke for my leaves. Got a nice Kelly green, a little bit of brown, and a little bit of mustard. Just trying to squeeze in between the petals. Okay, now use that same brush, rinse it off just a little bit. I get some brown, paint my center of my magnolia. And do it kind of thick. Now I'm going to use my flat brush, but I'm holding up like this, so that way I can get some definition in my magnolia. Kind of retracing those black lines. If you'll notice too, I'm holding my brush up higher towards the tip. That allows me to have more control over my brush strokes that are thinner. I don't do the same thing to every petal because in nature, each petal would never actually look the exact same. When you don't use a lot of water, your paint dries a lot faster too, which is nice when you're just trying to do something quick. I'll rinse my brush off, dry it really quick. I'm going to do something called dry brushing. I'm going to get some mustard, wipe it off just a little bit, and go back over that green just to give it some highlights. This is really easy to do with a flat brush. One more time with the flat brush. I'm going to get some mustard. Come back to my magnolia. A flat brush is the most versatile because you can use it up on its side. You can use it flat to cover large areas. You can even kind of use it at an angle like this. And now I'm going to use my smaller brush. Get a lot of mustard on there. I'm going to hold it straight up so that I can get a nice texture on the center of my magnolia. It's kind of like stamping in art. We usually call this pouncing. Now I'm going to use my round brush. A round brush is good for blending. While this is still a little bit of wet, you can add just a little bit of water if you want to. I'm trying to blend a little bit of that brown and that mustard so the lines aren't quite so harsh. I'm going to mix up just a little bit of a mintish color, tiny bit of green with that cream that I was using, a little bit more white. Same again with my round brush. Come back in towards the edges. I'm going to use the same color to do a dry brush, just like I did with the mustard, on my leaves. And if you do it a little bit too light, you can always come back with your original flat brush and get a little bit of your darker green, kind of come over it and blend it. Now I'm going to use my smaller brush again. We're almost done. I'm going to come back with some brown and go to the edges of that black. Just try and give an outline or some shape to each petal. If you notice, what I'm doing is coming up close to the edge and then blending it out. Again, I try not to do the exact same thing to every petal. Get my round brush, get some of my cream, blend it in a few spots. I would probably let this dry first and then come back with a nice clean brush. Get some fresh white. And just go around the edges. Soften those edges with your flat brush or your round brush. And that's it.